Joining us now, two leaders of the so-called Gang of Six, Senators Mark Warner and Saxby Chambliss. They started in early on trying to resolve this problem. Senator Chambliss, it looks to me like that the Speaker has decided to call the President's bluff. It looks to me like he's going out today with some sort of a plan, whether he gets any kind of an agreement with the Democrats or not. Where do you see this going?
Well, I think that's probably a good move on Speaker Boehner's part, because here's where we are, Bob, in my opinion. The President came in late in the game, even though this scenario has been very predictable for months and months now. And it's time for the real leadership in a bipartisan way in the House and Senate to get together and come up with some proposal that can pass the House and the Senate and go to the President and say, Mr. President, this is it.
Well, do you think, Senator Warner, that what Speaker Boehner is talking about here, is there a way this could pass the Senate?
Well, my feeling has been we're still the only bipartisan effort in this town. Over a third of the Senate has agreed to try to move forward with our $3.7 trillion deficit reduction plan. One way out might be, if this so-called new commission doesn't come up with a solution, let's have a vote on our plan. We built upon the Simpson-Bowles approach. We've got over a third of the Senate saying this is a way forward. Why should we turn away from, again, the only effort that says let's have a comprehensive bipartisan approach, which is what the Gang of Six has produced?
Well, do you all agree with the statements today that you need to basically get something done before dark around here, or the Asian markets are going to be
You got to get something done, or what we will have is indirectly a tax increase on every American family with increased interest rates.
Senator.
And frankly, we don't know what's going to happen for sure, but one thing will be guaranteed, and that's exactly what Mark just said. We know that every household in America is going to be affected in a negative way, just by virtue of the fact that credit card interest, interest on commercial loans is going to increase. And this is not the time to see an increase like that, whether you consider it an interest increase or a tax increase, which he's right, indirectly it is.
Why is the President so against a two-step plan, Senator Warner?
Well, I think we all don't want to see a repeat of this kind of political posturing and back and forth with this kind of deadline. I agree with the President. We ought to move this out as far as we possibly can. And it looks like the leaders have come together on some process. What we're saying is, if this new commission, and Lord knows we've had plenty of commissions, they all end up basically within the same 20% of each other. If this commission can't come up with a solution, why don't we turn back to something that actually has got some bipartisan support? We've taken some arrows from both the left and the right now. My fear is any new commission, they'll try to wall off the kind of choices we've already made. Our plan at $3.7 trillion is actually relatively meager. If this is going to come under assault, how are we going to really get to the $14.5 trillion that our nation faces in debt?
Senator Chambliss, let me ask you this. I mean, this is a question that I think a child might ask. Why has it come to this? What has happened to our Congress here? I mean, it appears to be totally dysfunctional. It can't seem to address any serious issue head on anymore. What happened?
You know, the atmosphere has gotten worse and worse, it seems like, Bob, every year that I've been here. And today it is just very, very difficult to get Republicans and Democrats to sit down together and have serious conversations about these complex problems. But it's absolutely necessary now, particularly. We got a divided government, and in previous administrations, like Reagan administration, where Reagan and O'Neill got together, reformed Social Security, cut taxes, incidentally exactly like we're proposing to do. In the Clinton administration, we reformed welfare, we balanced the budget in a bipartisan way with a divided government. And we do have an opportunity right now, but there simply, in my opinion, is a lack of leadership at the top. And a president can't come out and show anger towards the people he's negotiating with and hope to get something accomplished.
Bob, I would agree there's a lot of dysfunction, but something remarkable happened this week. Tuesday morning, we had half the Senate in, we laid out our plan, and as opposed to people saying, no, we want to punt some more, they said, sign me up, including Republican and Democratic leaders.
All right, well, we'll see what happens today. I'll be back in a moment. Bye.